Hi guys! Today is going to be kind of an interesting video. I decided to do a makeup tutorial. I love makeup. I've always loved makeup ever since I was like, 13 years old. And I just thought, why not? I have to make 6 videos and, I don't want to do all comedy or whatever. So here I am. So this makeup tutorial, it's not going to be for the natural girl. You know what I mean? We all love the natural girl. I wish I was the natural girl, but I'm not that gifted, so I can't have that. I have skin imperfections. Most people do. But this is going to be really full coverage, really glam, with the false lashes and everything. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, or if you want to go on a special occasion or take someone's man, it's going to be perfection, okay? And obviously, this isn't something that you would wear every day. I might, but it is, it takes longer. By the way, if you hear some construction in the back, I can't help that. I'm sorry, because I have to have the window open. It's so hot in here. I have like 2 lights just right at my dumb face. So, I need to have some air in here. I've already moisturized. I use CeraVe. It's just something you can get at any drugstore. I've also primed my face. This is Hourglass primer. For those of you who don't know, primer is just something that you could use under your foundation, and it kind of helps to smooth the pores or sometimes give a dewier look and just kind of make your makeup last longer. So I'm going to go in with the foundation now. I use Lancome, it's in French, Teint Idole Ultra Wear, just whatever, it's this one. This is probably my favorite foundation, honestly. I've tried like so many of them. This one stays for a really, really long time and gives you that coverage you want. So I'm using this, it's a beauty blender. This is something you can get at Sephora. It's just a really, really good sponge that kind of makes your makeup look kind of melted into your skin, which is good. So just take time, just using this bouncing motion, make sure you wet it, and this kind of makes blending really a lot easier too. I really prefer this method compared to using a brush for a foundation. By a brush, I mean something like this. I just feel like it looks better and more natural. I mean natural, who cares, but you know what I mean. I'm going to be bringing this down the neck because this is a little too dark for me. It's my summer shade and I'm almost done the bottle. So, you don't want to have any lines of demarcation and kind of keep your skin the same color. Okay, so now we're going to get into some concealing. To cover my dark spots from like acne scarring, I like to take the NARS. This is the Soft Matte Complete Coverage Concealer. And I take this really pointy brush, dip it in here, and kind of just go on the specific dark spots that I have to cover it. It just gives like a really good pinpointing wherever you want it, and then you're not over applying to places that don't need it. Okay, this is a little color correcting. This is kind of optional. If you have like areas of your skin that are kind of sallower, which means like they have like a more yellow tinge to it and it doesn't like kind of blend with the rest of your body, you can use like a really light purple corrector color. This is Urban Decay Naked Skin Color Correcting Fluid, and just put a tiny bit on those areas and it'll just brighten them up slightly. With the beauty blender again, I use the pointed side and blend. Look at that, huh? It's brighter. And the rest of my areas that I like to use brightener or concealer under is around my smile lines and like just right here. So I'm going to just go ahead and do that with the Urban Decay Naked Skin again, but this is an actual concealer, not a corrector. Makeup is all about painting, like the shadows of your face. You can think about what color is the opposite. Oh, I got concealer on me, huh? That's good, that's professional. You look at the shadows of the face that you want to kind of bring forward and you use lighter colors. You can color correct, using the opposite color and help it just neutralize out. It's really just about having an eye like you would if you were painting. Okay, let's go to the eyes. For my top lid, I just continue to use this NARS. So I just dip this like a little brush like this, just like a flat top, and just go ahead and even out right over here. I have like pretty dark circles, so I like to use something a little more full coverage in the under eyes, and I actually just got this Tarte Shape Tape. This is kind of like, everyone talks about it on like YouTube and stuff, and I finally got it. I had to pay like so much money in shipping because I had to get it from Ulta, which is like an American store. I'm not sure if I like it yet, so I'm gonna just keep using it. I used it yesterday and I liked it, so I'm just gonna put that there. And then, I know it seems a lot, but use your beauty blender, it shears it out a lot, and I'm gonna just pat this and sweep this. So there's a little bit of blending. So when did you guys start getting into makeup? Because I remember I was like 13 and I got like a big thing of what I thought to be foundation, but it was just concealer, like just terrible drugstore concealer. And I would just like put it all over my face. And I just really thought that I looked awesome. It's just been a journey from there. I also am going to put just a smidge on here and here just to highlight. Okay, after that's done, I'm gonna do what's called baking in the makeup community. This is Laura Mercier powder. It's translucent setting powder. I just dump some in here and I keep using this beauty blender. So I use the same thing and I just dab like so. And I use this to set my under eyes so it doesn't move. And you're gonna see I'm gonna put a lot on and I'll tell you why in a sec. I know people who like do makeup, they're like, oh my god, this is so obvious. But, you know, I'm just trying to think of people who, you know, usually don't do this stuff. Baking helps the concealer set, and you put a lot on because you want it to melt into the skin, and you leave it on for a little bit, okay? And what that does, it makes your makeup stay on longer. And it's also just really good if you're going to do eyeshadow or something, like, you know, you're going to have some fallout, which means like powders coming down and falling here. So if you have excess powder on, you can just brush it off afterwards and then you don't have to worry about it getting on your makeup. Baking also lightens the area that you put powder on, okay? So anywhere that you want to kind of lighten and conceal, I like to do the sides of my nose. It's just like a contouring method to make it look kind of like snatched up, you know? This is so weird, like doing my makeup on here. Like, this might just look horrific on camera. I have no idea. So while that's on, I'm just gonna leave it on for a while and I'm gonna brush it off near the end of the makeup tutorial. Okay, so the next thing I like to do is, you know, get my brows a little better. Get these Iranian brows in check. Okay, so I take a little Q-tip and I just take off like the foundation that might have gotten on my eyebrows. So the way I put my brows on is I use a brown eyeshadow. This one's from MAC. I can't read the label because it's sold. I've had this since high school. This is a brush that you can use. It's just an angled brush. This one's from Body Shop. So I take that and I fill in the majority of my brows with that before I go in with a pencil. The pencil is kind of like a perfecting thing, and this is just to darken the brow and make it a little more uniform. This brush is really great for this because, you know, it's pointed, so you can really be precise and get on these edges here. You gotta trust Iranians with the brow stuff, okay? Because our brows are always impeccable when we have them done. I can tell someone's Iranian just by looking at their eyebrows. I'm telling you right now. Okay, so that's definitely not like done, but you can see that there's more color that's like just spread out evenly, and the gaps are a little less noticeable. After that's done, I'm taking the Anastasia Brow Wiz, and I'm gonna just be doing short little motions here, imitating hair, basically. Okay, one of my biggest pet peeves is like when girls, when they fill their eyebrows in, they make the color as deep on both sides. Like they make this beginning part really dark, and it shouldn't. It should really start a little lighter and gradient go into a darker thing here, because it kind of opens up the area here instead of just having a big block of color immediately in the front of your eye. It's just more appealing visually. This is the better eyebrow, this one right here. There's always one that looks better every single time. Okay, so now we're just gonna finish setting the rest of the face. I like to use either the Laura Mercier little powder puff and just set. Sometimes this is better for people who have acne scarring, because if you use a brush like this and you swirl around, it might move around the concealer that you put in those specific places, so I like to use this. Obviously this is like pretty, you know, detailed and like a lot of, you know, steps here, but you know, if you want your makeup to last the entire night and to look good, you know, you gotta do this. So again, I'm putting what looks like to be a lot, but don't worry, powder is gonna be wiped off. This is kind of, again, because if you have acne scarring and you're trying to cover it, if you put on a little bit and bake it a tiny bit, compared to your eyes, it's way less. Again, it'll kind of help to set that concealer. This one you're gonna brush away immediately though, after you put it on. Make sure to do your neck too. So I sweeped away the powder around my face with this. Now here comes the fun part. It's all fun to me, really, but we're gonna do some contouring. So this is my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. It's a little dirty, look at that. Nice, huh? So these are contour colors here. We're gonna put these to create shadows on our face, if you didn't know. And then these are highlight colors to bring out the high points of our face. I'm gonna take this MAC angled brush that I've had since the beginning of time. It's literally from like junior high. And then I'm gonna take the one to the very, I guess you're right. And this one's the coolest toned one. And that's what you need. You need cooler toned colors to create an actual shadow. You don't want it to be warm because then it won't look like a real shadow. It's just gonna look like a poo stain. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna get a little bit of that and carve it out. Carve it out. Carve it out. So I like to go down here, and then fill in this part. It just kind of slims down my face a little bit. My face is pretty goddamn round, let's be honest. If you don't know where your cheekbone is, I mean, you probably heard this before, but like suck in your mouth or whatever. And that's where it is. But, I mean, you know where your cheekbone is, don't you? It's your face. I'm making a line and then I'm going upwards to blend, so it's not just like one harsh line. It's like kind of a weird balancing act that you have to do because you do want it to look like a little bit of a line because that's how a shadow would look. Oh, I'm putting this under here just to like cut out my jawline. Like I have like not even like barely anything, but I have like a little bit of like, you know, pudge under here. It's like really nothing, but it just helps to create that shadow and then it brings your jawline out more. I also take the darker color and mix it with that cool tone and I go up here just to create shadows and kind of make your 5 head look like a 4 head. Grrr. Do you guys watch makeup tutorials? I just like to watch people put makeup on. It's like so calming to me. It's just like what I meditate to, you know? Okay, and then also use that little cooler thing. Go right here just to bring the tip of your nose a little higher. We're gonna do some more nose contouring later. Once you're kind of happy with your contour, you can go in with like a lighter color like this or just like your translucent powder and use a brush or your beauty sponge and just kind of cut it out by placing it right underneath. That way it kind of defines it, and then I like to just kind of lighten it up. Still on the contour type, this is now more highlighting the higher points of the face. This can help to like slim your nose, get rid of shadows. So I'm going to use the middle shade. It's like this very light yellow shade. And I'm going to use just like a flat brush. This is from Bare Minerals. It's like a synthetic brush. So let's say I want to slim my nose, okay? So I'm going to try to make these sides of my nose look smaller. So I'm going to place this lighter color right where I see shadow. That's where this is going to go. So the sides of the nose. So I'm just going to do that and I'll be right back. Okay. Do you see a difference? Yeah, it looks a little less obvious, the sides, right? We're gonna just do the similar thing on the lower points, like I'm kind of okay, but like you can go under here a little bit, here around the mouth, because a lot of women hormonally have like red around their nose area, so it's pretty common. I find that like if I try too hard to conceal my under eyes, like right now, you can definitely see like there's still a bit of a shadow there, but I feel like if the more I try to conceal it, it just kind of makes it look unnatural and kind of cakey. So I mean, if you want, you can take a lighter color and try to just lighten up this area. I might just put a little bit on here. Okay, nose contouring. I like this pencil brush. It's from MAC. So taking that contour again, there's definitely different ways to contour the nose. I have makeup all over my shirt. Can you tell I'm not a professional at this? So I take that cooler color, and what I like to do is just kind of do the top-ish area of my nose, but just be careful here. All you do is kind of follow the curve of where your eyebrow goes into your nose area here. And instead of following the curve of your natural nose, you just bring it straighter, so it kind of straightens the nose, and it kind of snatches. You know what I mean? Let me show you. This is a little more difficult because I'm doing it on camera. But did you see that? How it kind of... And then you bring that line you made and you just follow your curve. So you curve it and make a natural type of shadow up here. So it just looks like that's what your face does. Take this and just bring it down. Bring it down. Don't use too much. I'm going to do the other side and I'll be right back. Okay, so when you're starting to like the shape that you just made, get more of that darker color, and to lift the nose up, just put a little shadow under here. By the way, like, obviously nose contouring is optional. Like, you don't have to do nose contouring. It's fine. You know, I like it because it kind of makes my nose look straighter. And, I mean, we want to look hot, right? Okay, so now we can kind of go ahead and start to do some eyes. Okay, I'm sorry, my palette is so gross. It's the Urban, I'm just gonna hide this. It's the Urban Decay Naked one. I have a really clean one. Just kidding, it's horrible. This is the rose one. They have different versions, so this is the rose. So I don't know if you noticed, but I didn't set the concealer that I have here. You can see it's creasing a little bit, but the reason why I left that was because it's a good base for the eyeshadow to stick on. So I'm just gonna get rid of that crease here. Now, when you wanna do an eyeshadow look, you should take something like this, like a blending brush, okay? And start with a transition color, okay? A transition color means it's like something very close to your skin tone. A lot of times it's like gonna be natural, like a lightish brown or a lightish pinky brown, whatever, like that. You take a blending brush like this. I'm gonna use this color here. This is Limit. And what you do is you swirl around a little bit, tap off the excess, that helps with fallout, and you sweep this right on top and on the little hollows of my eyes here. This is just a shade that is going to be barely noticeable, but it's going to help your other colors blend in a lot better. It's going to help the transition from eyeshadow to your skin tone. Just do this sweeping type motion here. Brush it away from what you just did so it helps to blend it out. So now we're going to go in with the lid color where you put all over the lid. I'm going to do Buzz here. Now this is a shimmery shade, and for shimmery shades I personally like to use my finger. It just adheres more to the skin. Sometimes it's just really hard to use like a typical brush like this that has natural hair and have it actually stick onto your eye. So I just found that this is easier and also better, so why not? So I'm just gonna pack this on my eyeball. I'm going to be putting it a little bit higher than where my eye actually naturally goes, just because it gives you the illusion of having more lid space. Put some more powder around here just because a little bit left and I want to make sure it catches the fallout, so then after there will be no mess. Now we're going to go back. I'm going to use that same pencil brush that I used to contour my nose, and I'm just going to take a darker color. This one is Nooner, right there. And then we're going to just keep darkening that crease. This one is a little darker, and I'm going to leave it to the outer corners up to the center of my pupil. Okay, and then we're also going to just take a little bit of that and put it right here in the corner and blend. And you know, some people like to use separate brushes for blending, but it's like, you can use the same one. Just take the color off a little bit and then just go ahead. It actually helps the blending. This isn't like going to be a super complicated look, so basically we're almost done. I'm just going to add a darker color right in the end here and blend, just to add that finishing touch. And I'm going to use a mixture of Dark Side and a little bit of their black here, which is called Dark Heart. This just helps create a little more depth. Going back to the lid color, I'm going to just take a lighter pink right here. It's called Dust. It's a lighter color. I'm going to just use my finger again because it's a shimmery color. And I'm going to put it near the inner corner of my eye, just so we have a shifting color from inner corner to outer corner. And blend. And this is optional, but I really love this Alchemist palette. This is from Kat Von D. These are just 4 colors that you can put on top of makeup or just by themselves, and it kind of helps it to have this weird like holographic shifty thing going on. So I'm going to just use the pink and just put it on top of the pink lid color that I have here. Okay, and then for the lash line, I'm not really someone that likes to do a lot of cat eyes anymore. Like I used to do that every single day in high school and I'm kind of like sick of it. But it is nice for certain looks. I personally like to take like a small angled brush, something like this, really small. And then I like to take the darkest color here and I like to just place that on my lash line here, very close to my actual eyelashes, and kind of blend and sweep it outwards, just so it gives a very smoky cat eye, you know what I mean? Less crisp, it's more just blended into the makeup. Yada dee da da da. Just place that angle where you would normally put the wing, and then we're gonna go back and kind of blend it and darken it a little. This is gonna just like kind of make your eyelashes look a little fuller near the bottom. I'm gonna just continue using this angled brush, and I'm gonna just take a darker color again. I'm gonna use Nooner, which was one of the colors I used in my crease, and I'm going to just place it on the lower lash line. Okay, after I placed that on the bottom, I just kept using the same angled brush, and I went in with Dark Side, and I placed it super, super precise right underneath, right here. So you can see if you look closely or whatever, you can see it's a little darker, and then it kind of gradients out. And then I'm just gonna take the lighter pink color dust that I used near the inner corner, and I'm just gonna put that also in the lower lash line. Okay, so that's kind of done. We're gonna curl the lashes, and then I'm gonna put some mascara on. I like to use the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. I used to use the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, but this is kind of like a dupe for it. It's pretty similar, because the other one's like $35, and bitch don't have that money sometimes, okay? I'm also gonna be doing lashes. I use the Lily lashes. This one's in the style Miami. Okay, so this is me with mascara. Lashes, ugh, I don't like putting lashes on. It's so annoying sometimes. Like, whoever's put lashes on before, you know, like some days it's just real hard to get those perfect. I'm gonna do it off camera, but if you don't know this, you take lash glue, you put it on the band, and just wait until it gets a little sticky, usually like 30 seconds to a minute sometimes, and that's when you should place it on your eye. Don't do it earlier because it'll just slide off, and it's just you're gonna want to kill yourself. Ta-da! OMG. I prayed to Jesus and it worked today. Last step, this is optional, but I like to take a black eyeliner. I use the Urban Decay 24/7 eyeliner, and then I just like to tight line, which means going in the inner part here and the inner part down here, just to like make your eyes pop. Got my tight line, things are coming together, I look less weird. It's just so weird when you put on makeup, like around 90% of the time you look horrific, and then after you're like done everything, you look pretty good. Okay, so I have like a bunch of like foundation and powder on my lips. That just happens because, you know, you're like brushing stuff on. So I'm just gonna take some Aquaphor and just take it off my lips, just wipe it off with a paper towel or something. That way your lips will be ready for lipstick or whatever you want to put on. Okay, so now I'm just gonna line my lips. I'm gonna be using Makeup Forever's lip pencils. This is 5C, and I'm just gonna be doing mainly the top lip. So I'm just gonna follow my natural lip line basically and crisp it up. So I also just put a little tiny bit underneath right here, just to create a little bit of a shadow, and then you can go on with any kind of lip color that you like. I like liquid lipsticks. Makeup Forever makes a really good formula. This is in the shade 105. This is just like a tester, but I really love it, so I'm just probably gonna get it. You gotta be careful with these because there's gonna be some time for it to dry, and you wanna just kind of let it do that before you move on to anything else. Okay, now we're gonna do some highlighting. Highlighting is just shimmer. You can put it on the high points of your cheek, under your eye. I'm using the Becca highlighter. This is in Moonstone, and a fan brush. This is from Sephora. You can get it anywhere really. So basically swirl that around, tap. I like to hit right here. If I want to be more precise, just squeeze the hairs together, and then you can kind of like pick the exact place that you want it. I like to go around here a little bit, and then I use my finger and I put a little bit underneath the brow bone. Sometimes I like to just dust a little bit on the chin. What I like to do for the shape of my nose is I like to just take my finger a little bit and put it right here and just blend. That's like a part in my nose where it goes in a little bit, and if you add light to it, it kind of gives it the appearance that it's not as deep anyway into your skin. So you do that, and maybe just like boop. Oh, I don't use blush. That's just my personal thing. I used to use blush, but sometimes I just get into like these phases where I don't use blush. I just don't think that it's really necessary all the time, at least for my skin. Once you think you're like pretty much done, I like to take a setting spray. This is Urban Decay All Nighter. Just spritz it all over your gosh darn face. And what that does is it just makes your makeup kind of melt together, and it just makes it look less powdery, and it makes it last longer. So that's great. Once the setting spray is dried, this is again optional, but I like to go in with like a HD powder. This is just pure silica. This doesn't have any color or anything in it. I just brush it like on my pore area here. It just helps to blur your T-zone, which is usually, you usually have more pores in that area. So you really need like the tiniest amount of this. And if it gets in your throat and you choke on it, you're gonna be coughing all day. I know from experience, sure, I might have done that 800 times. All right, here we go. Okay guys, I think I'm done. Anyway, I hope you like this look. It's very like monochromatic, which is kind of in style right now. So it's really nice with, if you're wearing like a shirt like this color, it looks really good together. I think it came together really nicely. The highlight though, yes, queen. Yeah, I think it's good. This has been Afarin from Evolution 1079. Goodbye.